The party had a long rest after a very long day. Upon completion, Alara got up and communed with her deity, who is the aspect of all water and oceans. The first question after rubbing holy water over her face and sitting down is whether the creature blocking the party's efforts to contact other deities is related to the three great evils, upon which the holy water became foul and rancid, dripping down her face. She washed her hands after throwing the rags and asked if it was watching them right now, and from the dendritic patterns that emerged to each of the party members, most definitely so. The third question as to how the creature how it could be defeated and whether such means could be found in the library were uncertain, however, though it is interesting to note by Alara that the Great Ocean does not seem to consider contamination or even corruption to be an issue as a whole. Water simply is. After emerging from their new room within the Balagate headquarters, Alara and the group meet Rahidas, who catches up to them, has a few questions about gods and such, but mainly warns them about Thugal being upset about the whole development and possibly looking at ways to get back at them. There's much ado about burning the contaminated rag, and when they do return to their room, what begins is a little cat and mouse game of traps and triggers as the group tries to avoid Thugal's little antics and pranks. Alara is especially annoyed to learn that according to the manual and operations guide of the Balagate chapter, that in fact they don't expect the best behavior from their recruits, but as long as nothing solid is produced, it's to be let be. If Alara is going to play this game with Thugal, she'll have to get down to his level by legal means. The group proceeds out and finally moves on to some business, meeting a new mercy killer that Sile recognizes, who seems to be extremely disapproving of the situation at the hayloft. This new mercy killer, who is supposedly a Justicar, has business to discuss with them in the alleyway where Verity woke up once with a memory blank. The mercy killer apparently has a dim view of the Ravnica orderlies such as Jace and the likes, who he views as ineffective or perhaps far too tolerant of injustice. With further line of questioning, the group followed the reasoning that the entire region is probably tainted or being watched right now. However, the creature itself, or at least its proxy, still seems vulnerable to mundane means. And finally, the Magister states that the extermination squad will be sent for. When Alara states about how it's probably watching and blocking communions at the moment, the Magister attempts to warn the thing that it's under arrest, which greatly amuses some people internally. The Inquisitor departs, and as the group is getting back on their toes and discussing what's going on, they get a sending from Jace, or at least Sony does. Jace apparently is unable to communicate with the group as a whole, reaching only to one of them and through an unstable connection, stating that he's still recuperating. He warns that the Mercy Killers may be planning drastic action which might not help the current case. Either way, there are three things he's able to come up with on the spot. That whatever it is might be linked to something called the Eldrazi that he's not sure of either, except that they have origination in Zendikar and are somehow tied to vampires. Sony's main takeaway from the whole thing is that perhaps Jace likes her. Alara is in no mood to confirm nor deny any allegations. The group decides on 3 topics of interest to bring to the library about temples around, binding runes, and finally Eldrazi. There's a quick session in which they discuss what is possibly safe to ask and what isn't before they head to the library and meet back with the earlier librarian. He's happy to answer questions about the Temple of Ula, which he states has been a magnificent temple, especially with controlled water levels to make it accessible, and that apparently it seems flexible water levels and curiously was abandoned by something previously or some people. Alara manages to display her obeisance, or at least respect for Ula, stating a desire to learn more, to perform a ritual of sorts, and is able to impress the librarian into agreeing to a combined visitation together with other external forces who seem to be part of the cult of the crushing wave if the group's estimations is correct. Since the temple opens twice daily at the changing of the tides, the group accepts that they might have to deal with other people present for the time being. Verity is able to bow politely and pass on the basis of manners alone. Nerif seems absent-minded but harmless enough. Rosa is a perfect paragon of intelligence and note-taking and diligence. Her entry is no question. Sony, well, the librarians have concerns about her being left alone, and Alara proposes that another colleague by the name of Alex is to be brought in to help take care of her, and hopefully Sony doesn't touch anything she shouldn't in the library. And this is where our session begins today. Moment you are summoned by the group. Right, Alara, for clarity's sake, can you repeat what you last told Moment?
It's not the ley lines. We didn't exactly say about the ley line. What is the third question? Because I remember.
No, I never said there was a ley line.
Yeah, not you. I'm talking about Xia's thingy. Yeah. So Eldrazi, Temple, and last one. Also, for my case, in the compass point, since Alara did told me 30 minutes later, so that I after I do my makeup, I scratch a little bit because like suddenly a message just come by to me. That just like doing eyeliners, and then I like whoop, just a little bit off the eyelines, and then I just rub it off. Go down to Sasha and just tell him I'm going to leave. Pay 2 gold in advance for anything Burks is going to eat or request, drink, whatever for the next few days. So I'm gonna deduct 2 golds from mine.
I just choked for a moment. This Kip is also under MOC, right?
It's under what you are doing with that character. So I'm just
No. As in, Kip the player, like technically he can join us again.
technically, but
anyway,
yeah,
someone passed that idea to him later out of game.
yeah, but yeah, I'm just gonna put 2 gold for Sasha for whatever Burks want for the next few days, since I already pay in advance already my room. So yeah, given that, I tell him I'm going to leave again. I'll be back whenever I'm back. So that's it. I go and then go upstairs again.
All righty.
Oh, you guys haven't told me what's the third question, right? Type it in Roll20 while you're finding a safe spot.
Didn't Alara go somewhere with Sony by themselves and the rest of us are still
With
Yeah.
the librarian.
in with
Yeah.
the librarian?
So, do anyone remember the third question? So,
The first, we confirm that the creature is watching us. Second
no,
one is
it's not.
related to the.
It's not the question. The librarian question, not
It's
the
the
god
addressee, and then we ask them about
temple.
the
Temple.
temple and
then-
about binding runes.
Oh, binding. Okay, binding. Okay, binding runes. Okay, binding runes.
Okay, so moment he joins Alara outside the library, right? Yeah. Okay, that was established. So it
Uh-huh.
turns out you bring him up to date, and where do you bring moment now?
Okay. So tell me, what did you tell the librarian? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that. I still able to read every word. I question, like I said the word questionly because I don't know if the thing has any hindrance towards my ability. Oh, by the way, you already knew about that creature, the thing from beyond, right? Can you quickly write something in whatever language you write? I just want to test my ability.
What's wrong with your ability?
Can I still understand what she's writing, whatever she's writing?
Yeah, you can understand all written languages and such that are not ciphers.
Okay. Apparently, it's not hindering me. Okay, that is good. So I can do research. I can do research.
Hmm? Hmm. Okay.
I will entertain her in the library. I'll find something to entertain her.
Librarian. Where is his name?
Yes.
Oh, I
It's not
didn't write.
it's not Esrim, right? It's not Esrim.
Oh, I didn't write his name.
Wait, did you actually ask for the librarian name for last session?
Yes, that's
Oh,
all.
Sartos.
All right, Sartos, right. It's on top.
The librarian Sartor seems to stare over Mormon, looking
We're not.
and down.
Mhm.
Mormon, what are you currently wearing?
I'm wearing brown brown cloth. Of course, underneath it is leather armor. I'm not hiding it, but over it is a brown cloth that is
More
supposed to be given
importantly,
by
what is your face like at the moment?
the gruff hunter look that I previously did for during the Burke's escape.
Okay, hunter look.
Yeah, like I had a eagle, but Burks is not here, so I don't have the eagle. So it's more gruff looking, older than what I'm looking, but that's why they have a lot of lines and makeup just now when I was in the compass point.
The librarian Sartos examines you. Let me roll.
Do I need to roll for my disguise kit?
He looks over you and says to Alara, "This one seems like quite a rough and tumble sort. Is the library really the best place for him?"
No, it's just that
I see. He turns to Moment. "Tell me one of your most outrageous tales, then."
my outrageous tale will be I travel all the way to
You.
I travel all the way to the mountain all the way in Akam, Valakut Mountain. I'm sure you heard of it.
Yes, your friends have already informed me, so I was hoping you were more well-traveled.
Yeah, the thing is that we found out that there is some sort of a mythical binding rune that is in between there and the glass pool. Oh, adventure's head or not findings, right? Adventure. Oh, adventure head. Okay. So I travel all the way up to Valakut. Also I travel the seas from what you call from Makir before all the way to Alpha Town from sea, just in search of knowledge.
From
This is not a lie, but Malakir.
Malakir? That is not exactly a center of learning.
Nah, there are some how do I say this? Ruins. It's not a center of learning. That place is a hellhole. But there are ruins of such that it's very old.
He lowers his voice. "How exactly did you get access to them? I hear the
No, it's
are
it's
very
not a,
protective of their secrets." He does
I'm
a open quote thing.
let's just say that it's not a open invitation. It's more of a I get in and I must get out immediately type of situation. No one is happy when I got in. Let's just say that.
Then tell me the most interesting piece of information you learned from that. Malakir is one of the regions most shrouded in mystery, even to Seagate.
Well, I am very sad to say that I actually didn't learn anything from it with the little amount of time I've in there. They were chasing me most of the time.
What did you see, at least?
Well, I'm gonna. Wait, big dragon? What? Did someone just say no, big dragon. No, no such thing as big dragon.
Make up something outrageous.
Wait. Okay. So, remember that we are searching for the binding runes? There are something sealing the binding runes in there. I cannot decipher. That is with some sort of very dark magic that can't get my hands on. They are sealing it somehow. It's in there. Wait, I can't hear what's your last word.
You describe it.
Describe it. It is sealed in a sort of like a sarcophagus type of thing. Very big, large, made out of rocks. Very big, solid rocks. Not able to open it is too big, it's too heavy.
How large was it?
I would say it was like 15 feet by 15 feet wide. A height would be around 20 feet. I can't even reach there.
Interesting. And did you ever see any inhabitants in Malacca of such size?
Not that I have seen before. Mostly are humanoids. Well, intelligent wise, I don't see any unintelligent is that big of a size yet.
Merfolk considers this. Then he looks at you again. What would you theorize it was being used for or purposed for?
It was to seal something. It's there for a reason. It's trying to seal something, but what it is sealing, I'm not sure. Because there's no reason for them to have such an object. You get me, right? Like there are no reason why they would have something like this.
There are many unexplained mysteries in existence.
Yeah, if only I have more time.
What's your experience with this? And his expression goes from intrigue, excitement, and back to whatever his expression was when he looks at Sony. What's your experience with that one?
Oh, she's my assistant. Usually she's there to help me. She is very.
Sorry, you were in Malacca with this assistant.
Sony right now, she's like, she has her arms crossed and she's looking away, sort of like sulking.
Oh no, she is a more recent assistant. She wasn't there during the Malacca.
I would your previous ones.
The previous ones?
Your previous ones.
Vampire attack happened. Didn't make it. It was. He was once a human. Well, whatever it is right now, it turned into.
What do you mean didn't make it?
Remember I told you that I only got into the ruins a limited amount of time?
Yes.
He is not fast enough and he got caught. I saw them biting on him before I ran for my life.
Did she die or was she turned?
It was a he. He turned. That was my previous one, but this is the more newer assistant. I met her in Alpha Town.
Your previous one didn't have important information, I hope. That could be used against you and to find you again.
No, I don't think so. Because most of the research I kept for myself. Unless there's worth sharing, of course.
You have a notebook.
Yes, I do. And it is just a map of all the places I've been. Like, remember the notebook with a map? So that's my notebook. Here you go.
All right, then. If you're going to be spending your day here, we might as well have a little exchange then.
Sure. Why not?
Okay, so he'll take your notebook for the time being and continue to provide library services, and you just make sure Sony is kept all right. Sony, at the moment, you may roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Oh shit! I opened my notes. I forgot my roll 20.
Let's see.
I'll roll on Discord for now.
Oh, that's a very bad roll. I thought I already purged them, you idiots.
It's 13 plus something. It's probably plus 3.
Do you have wisdom?
I open now. I don't think her wisdom is high. Oh no, wait. I think her wisdom is not bad.
I only have a +1 wisdom, so don't bet on it.
Hang on. How much do you get?
I got a 9. I got a bad roll, very bad roll.
Okay. I got perception, right? Oh, perception is +6. It's 19.
Wait, Sony has perception?
Yep, she has what do you call that thingy? Itu plastics.
I thought you said you roll.
Yeah, yeah.
roll.
Doing the plastic.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So moment you don't see anything as you're chatting with Sartos.
Mhm.
Sony, you see a white-brimmed red-colored hat stashed away somewhere amongst a pile of scrolls and books with a glove balanced over it.
Sony eyes squint.
A globe balanced around it.
Wait, so it is semi-hidden?
It's well, it's hidden to most people who don't look around very well. But you're bored and looking.
Yes, I'm bored and sulking and looking. So let me just get it straight. Does it looks like it's being placed with purpose, not just like drop somewhere?
It's hard to tell how things are categorized in the library sometimes, but it
Okay.
looks like a very familiar hat.
Sony is gonna go up to it and pick it up.
Are you attempting stealth?
No.
Okay, moment you see as you're talking to Sartos, who's starting to look over your notebooks, you see Sony walking away.
Okay. What are you doing?
So,
Hat. I'll point to him.
moment you see your hat like sort of put on scrolls and books and with
And
a glove
you
that is
need to go
basically
grab it.
precariously balanced.
Oh, is it balanced under something, like it is keeping them balanced?
Yeah, the globe.
Oh, they're balancing on something. Oh, it's gonna get a lot of mess.
It's not safe to grab it then.
And
No.
how you take it.
Hat.
Thank you. In a bit, I said.
Fine. I am going to start taking. How much stuff is on top of it?
A globe and 2 paperweights and such.
Are they? Can I reach them? Like the globe and everything? I'm gonna take them and put them down.
Okay, Sony, you head over in plain sight to the thing, and you hear coughing as find 2 more librarians looking at you. What are you doing?
I need to get the hat. It's not yours.
Excuse me, this is a property of the library.
Then I'll check it out. I'll borrow it.
The moment you hear this, what do you do?
Sony, do you find something?
Hat. And I point to it again.
I looked towards Sartos. I was like, a moment, please. I need to take off my assistants.
Sartos comes along and seems to have an exchange in the merfolk language with the 2 librarians. They don't seem to budge though, and says, you should not be taking or borrowing anything in the library without permission.
She might find something that is of interest of what our research. We will put it back if we found
Thank you.
it.
Please do not take anything without permission.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm so sorry with my assistant's rush action.
Is the hat important for you?
Check, Alex.
Okay, sure. Persuasion, right? Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Please roll low, please low. Wow!
The library says,
10.
you have 1 warning, and that's about it. Don't let us see you doing this again.
I'm so
I've
sorry. I'm
not
so sorry.
even done anything.
It's okay. It's okay, Sony. I know it's for the better good. Don't worry.
She rolls her eyes.
I give her a pat. Like, okay, it's for the better good. Don't worry about it.
Sartos says, shall we rejoin the others?
Yes, yes. Can I borrow the hat for a moment? If she found it some,
No.
It's just a hat.
no, because if she found something, I need to know
If
if
she cannot understand the concept of library property, then perhaps she shouldn't be here.
Mister, you asked me to ask for permission, so how do I ask for permission to check out the hat?
First,
It's
let's
just a hat.
reconvene with the group and continue the session. And after that, when we are conducting proper research, then I will see what materials I might assist you with. I
Okay.
will help you. You don't take things without permission.
Okay.
She rolls her eyes again. Okay.
Okay. I just I go behind Sony and gently push her, but my head is just beside her ear, whispering. Of course, this is trying to be stealthy, whispering to her.
You're in plain sight at the moment.
Wait, don't
If
you
you're going to
have
whisper,
message?
if you're going to whisper, you have to give me a charisma stealth check.
How does that work? So
No,
is it-
I'm
Stealth
your
with
assistant.
proficiency, but charisma instead of like dex.
You can click
Oh.
on any of your charisma proficient skills, I guess. Should be the same.
so any charisma proficient skill, then I guess.
If you're proficient in stealth, yes.
But okay, so stealth without proficiency but charisma. So
Just
it
pure
would be
charisma then.
so there will be 5+, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 5 plus 5. So I'm gonna roll charisma then.
Yeah. I think you can click charisma, yeah.
Yeah, charisma 12.
You try and whisper in Sony's ears, and you can see the librarians looking less and less pleased by the second.
So since he already see you, what you
Yeah,
whisper?
I'm gonna say just remember that spot.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I just push her and convene with the group.
Okay, Alex, from what give me an insight check.
Insight. Not the best skill I have. Literally not the best. Oh, okay, 16.
Okay.
At least the rolls are getting
You
better.
can tell that whatever good impression you made on Sartos has been rolled back greatly.
Mm.
And the other librarians have a negative view at the moment.
It's okay. At least I gave a good impression instead like a bad impression at the start and then roll down even worse. It's something.
Also,
Okay.
because of the way the arrangement works, anything Sony does comes straight back to you and how they view you.
Okay.
Then he brings Moment and Sony back to the group where you are reunited with Verity, Alara, Rosa, and Nerith. Sorry for the distraction. I have brought your two friends. There was a bit of an altercation, but please inform your... He looks over at Sony. Please inform her that... Please inform her how the library works, really.
I do apologize for... She's trying to text something.
I was just taking a hat. It's not even a book.
Well, she seemed to take a fancy to a particular hat in the library and seemed to insist that it wasn't the library's or such. Highly inappropriate behavior. I expect better from her minder. He looks at Alex.
I'm sorry. I deeply apologize.
The way research works in the library is you let us know the topics, we discuss with you, and then we see what further information is required. Please do not randomly take scrolls or books off the archives without consulting us. That's how things get lost and misplaced.
You look at me.
Sony nods.
Yes. What was your second question? What topic?
They want. I,
See,
yeah, I feel like they want the left Eldrazi topic to the last because it's the hardest topic for them to.
binding runes.
Yeah.
In what sense?
Something to buying a very powerful entity, such as the one, the Valakut Mountain with the explosion recently.
He turns to Alex. You're quite a seasoned traveler, yes?
Yes.
Have you explained to them?
About the Valakut or about the.
I presume you know about binding runes. to some
Oh yeah,
extent.
I come here specifically to look for more binding runes. I know just a few places about the binding runes, but I think they are mostly want to search for the binding runes that are not being known at the current location. More that is being hidden, like somewhere in the maybe the glass pool or somewhere there that was hidden or once had a binding rune and the power that it resides.
He looks at you and says, why don't you start by explaining the concept and function of a binding rune?
No, they already know the concept. They want to know more of what I cannot explain. That sadly.
To what purpose? There are many purposes a binding rune can hold.
As I say, buying a powerful entity.
What type of powerful entity? Sarkov doesn't seem bothered about this conversation at all, as if it's quite casual.
You can try. You can
I want to say,
the phoenix that has been
yeah,
released.
I want to say the Phoenix because that's
Yeah.
pretty strong. But on the other hand, the one we want to buy is not the Phoenix. It's a god piece. Yes.
Yeah. So just creature of unspeakable power.
Yeah, of unspeakable
Creature or
power.
energy source.
You can talk about binding the many-faced god, the one that we seen the first time. Yeah, yeah.
The Carabinos guy.
Yeah, yes, it is the Carabinos. Yeah. The many-faced. So you can say that he tried to bind him, whereby he is, trying to what you call capture unwilling people. Yeah.
Like a celestial. For the Phoenix? Okay. I think that one you should look at moment for that because that's a local thing.
If you look at me, I would consider it as some sort of god as well.
It
but
originated from the Mount Valakut, you say?
yeah, the heart of the.
Oh, that's just an elemental.
No, it's not.
It's simply an elemental of a greater magnitude. There are elementals that exist in water, there are elementals that shape the very waters, and there are elementals that draw water to themselves while forming an entire body.
Tell him the other one then.
Well, he considers this and says,
The glass pool.
"So, have you met such a thing?"
Yes. Bertie nods.
Does Alara leave anything out or tells everything?
You become terrified.
Well, let me think. Excuse me for a moment. I'm going to consult a colleague.
Hat. No, she saw it. She tried to take it. They are not happy with it. Hat is not a book, though. Okay, so hat over there. I'm not sure right now. They said that whenever we need research, they ask them, but I don't think any of our research requires a hat.
If it's just a hat, why not simply acquire a new one?
It has sentimental value. It's been with me for 300 years.
I see.
Put
So
hat
let's do it.
music in the Discord channel.
So steal it.
Verity says,
We are not stealing anything.
Verity immediately says,
We're not stealing anything.
I know it's here. It's gonna bite me someday, but I'm still patiently waiting. What do you mean terrible idea? I'm still waiting. Oh, okay.
She nods. She nods. It's quieter for me to be this way, right? It's alright, I won't touch anything.
And I
Sure.
and I also don't know how do I bring up the topic about the hats. Okay. Mm. During the I understand. Okay, understandable. I can take it up. Says that it has vampire value. It is made from a vampiric area. Well, if he since they didn't put it extra in, so I'm assuming it's just there. Oh, okay then. I'm just not gonna say anything for now until you mention Eldrazi or something that maybe if they find it interesting and take it out, that's up to them. For now, I'm just gonna patiently wait. How long I can wait?
Yeah. What did you say?
What was the last question?
In regards
Regarding the hat?
I think the best way for us to go forward is using the temple to inquire more about their gods.
And we were specifically asked to dig up information on these.
I know you guys
Eldrazi.
are speaking quietly, but you have to speak quietly in the voice chat itself.
Lol.
I'm not speaking quietly. I'm through
Well,
it.
that is how,
No, Ben. I feel like Ben was just like at that volume all the
that
time.
is how Neri
I think
speaks.
Yeah.
this is just the volume.
Yeah, readjust the volume, Ben.
Can I do that? How does one do that?
Just
It's
speak
based on
closer
your-
to your mic.
I
Or
think
so.
it's based on your own mindset settings. If you can go to your mic settings.
Is there no? Yeah. Okay. There we go. I see a gear,
or something.
and I see. I can't change the mic settings.
No, okay. So in your PC, there should have the audio settings,
Sound settings.
and then you play the record settings.
I'll
And you
just-
have your
I'll
microphone.
just hit the up button on my mic. That should work, right? Is this working? Am I louder?
Yeah,
Hello?
louder. Yeah, yeah.
like-
Thank you.
Okay, I'm not speaking louder, so I guess it worked. We were asked specifically to look up these Eldrazi, whatever they were. Should we not do that?
But we know that the three ancient evils, though they say it's Eldrazi, they are not very sure what it is.
Wait, is that what we know? Do we know that?
Did you say that? Maybe
Right,
Eldrazi.
okay.
Huh.
Huh?
Yes.
What
Judy
do you-
says that it is related to Eldrazi, but well, you know the three ancient evils, and from what we see in the temple, I have my suspicions that it is related to. I'm not sure. You know the three statues we keep seeing in the temple.
Is that related to the word you said that stunned everyone?
Yes, it is.
But the only one that very close to it, one of the particular word would be water, though.
What? What do you
Water?
mean?
Okay, so if you all remember, there are three statues.
Yeah, yeah. The three statues.
So
Yes.
one is I'm speaking in character to them explaining. One is Emiria the wind, Ula the water, and then one we shouldn't be spoke of because he of the tricksters. The only one that resembles one of the word that it sounds similar is of the water.
No, actually, all three of them sounds like the ancient evil that I mentioned.
Oh, do they?
Have you? Oh, yes.
No, don't say. Do not.
I
Don't.
spoken only one,
Don't. Yeah, just don't.
but I
don't
could
remember it.
technically
Don't.
say the other two in common.
No, don't say any word that resembles it. We know it hit me. I just heard one of the word that is similar. I do not remember the rest of them because it hurts my brain. So
Well,
don't
I
try.
could.
don't
Marty take out the piece of paper that he wrote to Sayo last time about what he remembered from Carabinos. It's written in
common, right?
Sylvan and Celestial. He tries to write in a lot of different language that he knows.
Wait, you're writing the names of the ancient evils in other languages?
Yes, yes.
But
And then
you told us that it's
I-
not
I
possible, right?
Wait, when did you write that? When did
you know
write that?
right after Carabinos, and then Sayo was asking what happened. Then the same day where he wrote the note and show it to him, and then he couldn't understand. I mean, it doesn't look exactly as what it sounds like.
Like you remember?
Okay, how long has it been?
It has been.
Oh no.
That
That's
was like way at the start.
You know, the first time we came to
The compass
Avatar.
point.
right after Carabinos.
Way
Yes.
back when.
Yes.
Okay. You take out that letter.
Yeah.
It's in your. It's blank.
Oh.
Even the gods have erased it.
Verity looks at his empty that letter and is like,
I could have sworn I've written that.
I think it's a sign.
Was it on the paper or in your notebook, your journal?
I wrote it in. Oh yeah, I wrote it in his journal, and then I showed it to Saya because I was asking what was he writing.
Oh, so that page would be blank then.
Oh,
Okay,
That
so
It's blank.
Yeah, that page is blank then.
you can see Rose's face like go pale.
And then Verity,
I
it's
No,
just like
because
the
it's the
entire
names
page.
that she said before, right?
Yeah.
That Rose got like
Guys,
mind
this is
blown.
like deja vu, you know, our inheritance, like our names would be signed on the pact, and then our names were erased because we disappeared. It's the exactly same. It's like, why is there an extra space in between the names?
Okay.
But it's the same thing. It's like he was writing, and then it's like, here are the names of the, and then empty space.
It's not
And-
like that. It's not like filling the gaps. It's the entire page and anything on it is blank.
Oh, so for that page.
yeah.
Okay.
Whichever you wrote a name on is gone, wiped.
Yeah.
So that means that day's log is gone.
Oh, that day's
That
log is
portion,
gone.
the portion of it
Oh,
with
you
the
did,
name.
but you did report it back to
Yeah, he
your
he
officer. Yeah.
he replied back. Well, Saya looks. I mean, Verity looks at Saya. It's like,
I'm not crazy, right? I've shown you.
Um, I feel like it is a sign.
Verity has
Saya
Saya.
looks at it. Does the writing reject to record, maybe?
Well, I can always write it again.
Oh no, don't. Just take into consideration it is by all means trying to not be named or written by any words. Just don't try it.
All right. Well, what I can confirm is that the three gods that they worship here
So you are
have the parts of the names from the three ancient heroes that I know.
Do I
So-
know anything about disappearing writing?
Illusionary script.
What?
No, like
that's a
writing that disappears.
Illusionary script.
Apart from that, because Verity clearly doesn't know that spell.
I mean, do you take the thing and try and examine it?
Yes.
Yeah, Verity passes you that
I see that.
page. Yeah, Verity says,
Yeah, sure. If you can figure it out.
Okay, so you're a wizard. Give me an Arcana check.
I will use my 15 portent for a 24 total.
that's big.
big move.
Okay, give me a moment.
Yeah,
Dun, dun, dun.
already here though.
Another one.
Oh, by the way, do you guys know like Explore to Wild Mount is a new source book, etc.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I know. I
I've
want to
managed
get.
to get my grubby hands on
I want
pirated
it.
copy.
I do not
Ho, ho,
have.
ho.
Oh, that's nice.
I want to have that book because I love Critical Role.
Would you like a pirated copy?
You,
Yo ho ho.
You know that someone is doing something right now.
How,
Oh,
yeah.
I know on
crap, I
5e
forget we
tools it's
recorded this.
available. 5e tools it's there.
what do you call that? Ben, does it talk about like how to run war between
I
countries?
don't know. I haven't read it.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
it should have the story about the long running war of the two empires right now, if I'm not wrong.
There's a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
I'm trying to look to see if there's something that actually remotely fits this.
Oh, with his 24. Okay. Isn't there spells that says that if you write a word on it after a few days, it will disappear on its own? It's like
Yes, illusory script, but that's something that the writer would do. Like, is there something
actually,
that
could
prevents?
Verity try to relate this to the inky book thingy as well? Like something that happened as well about.
Okay.
oh, you mean
from,
the smudge? The
from
smudge
what
that-
Verity can relate with that, like the ink was literally their lifeblood.
Yeah.
So when you destroyed the book, yeah.
But
This
it
is
was,
just a curse writing thing.
it's just because he's just using normal ink, writing what he interprets in his own
You're
language.
pretty sure you use normal ink.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
But maybe the word itself is magical enough to enforce the
Yeah.
magical.
Nerif, okay, from your 24 Arcana, all you can tell is there are some spells in existence that bend or even break reality temporarily, but
Aha,
reality always exerts itself.
I see.
It's like if you blow up a jungle, the jungle will grow back eventually and slowly. Reality is just like a bigger jungle.
Right. Okay. I
So
shall
which is
share this
why
information.
the multiverse can handle people planes walking left and right, time stopping here and forth because reality finds a way to fix itself.
Yes. Destiny finds a way.
Hmm.
And then Verity will ask,
So what does that
Perhaps
exactly mean?
those words were never meant to be written.
I see. Well, I shouldn't be speaking it, but
But
just
we know
know that those three names are, and it's not a coincidence either. These
no.
three gods they worship here. That's
So
why we can use the temple as a means to learn more about their gods.
wait a minute.
Very well.
Wait a
So
minute.
the Eldrazi are simply the gods that the merfolk worship.
Guys, isn't does that mean that the temple that they reside in right now, the previous temple that we went in, does that mean that what they are worshipping at that moment is the three things?
No, from what we see of the statues, they look
like what,
like the heroes or the gods that
But
they worship
yet-
here.
but yet he decided to go to that area. Their followers decided to go there, and then it happens. Whatever the creature has turned into happens in there.
Yes. Well, we do not know exactly why it was there or he. I suppose.
Since we are in at that topic, and I look through to see if they are finished, the librarian is finished or not.
Okay. Conveniently, the librarian returns.
okay, we cease talking about this thing.
Uh,
But we still wait for them to see what they can find about Eldrazi. We'll still see what they know.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, do you try and straighten up and act natural?
Yeah.
Ah, you've returned.
Am I interrupting something? Excellent. All right, then. So I consulted with a colleague of mine who is a Lao mage. The form the Alara described its shape.
It's like, yes.
He has a theory, but it's best confirmed if you knew what location or what significance of the area in which you encountered it was.
Does Nerif want to say something about it? Because we know Burks told you about what he experienced in there, right?
Right. Yes,
Right.
he did.
Yes,
Yes, he did.
he did.
Yes.
Not to his friend, but to his new friends. Yes, he did.
One
Mhm.
one of our former companions that was traveling with us at the time said he experienced something rather interesting.
Condolences.
Blah 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 blah. I tell him of how he flew through some portal and ended up in this different place.
Strange. Well, the first thing Sato says is my condolences, because in Zendika, whenever anyone talks about former companions,
Oh,
the
he's
first
Oh, you mean dead?
he,
But
he
no,
has
no,
not passed on. He is just no longer traveling with us.
well, congratulations then. Retirement is rare indeed.
I nod approvingly, I guess. Yes.
So, a strange place with strange rules.
Yes.
It's not to say unusual in Zendika, but that makes sense. What you described, this elemental, seems to be a guardian, given
Nod,
form
nod.
specifically to protect an area.
They also mentioned someone called Olgin. I'm not sure you want to say though.
I don't remember
I don't
that.
remember that.
They're all looking to find Olgin or Ulgin. Ulgin? I think it's Ulgin.
I
Ulgin.
don't
They
know.
are speaking in not primordial, but yeah. They keep asking about finding Ulgin.
That one is only Burks got
Yeah,
that.
that
How
is
much
only
did
Burks
he
got
pass to
knowledge.
you all? I'm not sure.
No, I don't think he said anything about that specific
But I
story.
thought he said he shared what he experienced with Nerif that night.
Everything?
Yeah, because he wants to know what's really going on in there.
Then you might know about that. Then look for Odian.
He might
had-
just be like, I don't understand what they're talking about, but they keep saying something about.
Yeah,
Ulgin.
so-
Only Nerif knows. then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
only
so it-
Nerif knows.
So Nerif, it will be like look for Udian. He has the binding runes. I think that's the word that the NPC said.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, that's
remember
the
it
thing
not.
that would be the things
Does
that
Nerif choose to say anything about this? Is another question.
Yeah, it's up to Nerif. Because Verti has no idea what's going on.
I mean, sure. Hard for me to decide because I, as a player, don't remember. But if Burks brought it up, then he'll say, yeah, when he was in this other place, he didn't quite understand what was happening. But what he did manage to
comprehend.
get was blah, 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 blah.
Interesting. So something very important was being protected.
I would assume so. Protected and hidden.
I'm going to consult with a different colleague on this. Please wait. Ulgin, you say?
Something to that effect. It was quite a while ago. And at the time, I suppose it didn't seem very important.
I'll be right back. He explains of what you encountered. He says seems like a sentry, because a sentry would, I mean, when you make a sentry, you make the biggest possible one and not 3/4 of it and not half, which explains why the entire elemental consists of all the water in that area, not like half of it or such.
Yeah,
Okay. Makes sense.
makes sense. Okay.
And of course, such things require a great amount of power, but well, people had strange means.
But what always makes me curious about that, what happened that time, right? Was you know, the people living there, was that the real time, and what we experienced outside is just because we did detect transmutation magic outside. So outside is just an illusion, the calm runes, and inside, yeah, it's transmutation.
Everything is transmutation, right? If I'm not wrong.
Unfortunately, the only person to actually go in was like the last person to care about these things. So, like,
Yeah. So we didn't manage to, because Verity has no idea until now as well. So
Zendika is full of unsolved mysteries.
Yeah, Shock Pikachu is like, you know about binding runes? What?
What? And
We
then
missed.
Moment is like, he didn't even tell me that. Odd. Oh, such
Pets.
I think that she's talking to Nerif.
Yeah, she's talking to Nerif.
Yes.
I'm sad that I cannot bring knowledge to him.
What do you mean?
Well, you are a wizard and I'm not, so.
Oh.
Also, he know about this and he didn't tell you guys.
He didn't think it was very important. He
But
just...
he know that we are looking for binding runes. Yes?
I did tell him that, unless he forgot.
But either way, I don't think we should focus on that. We should focus on what we are supposed to be planning to do in the temple.
The librarian is now going to consult with other colleagues of his, right? So yeah, but now we are able to talk with our topic, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, by the way, since we are on the topic of the temple, there is something I must tell you guys.
What's happening?
I see it to the side.
I think Nerif and Sony already noticed, but you guys might seen my message, but there are vampires around in there, sleeping, and yes. There is actually a very specific message to wake them up.
Oh, wait! Didn't Jay say that this Free Universe is related to the vampires?
I don't know, but he is a vampire, but I don't know of sorts of his origin.
Yes, I think that's what the other puzzle we are supposed to solve.
And though the vampire don't have a family name, and they have a ritual there that is based off the revivify of the vampire. I found the altar over there when I was in there.
You are a vampire yourself, yes?
Yes, but those knowledge is actually not for me to know, and I shouldn't be allowed to see that, actually.
Well, if Eldrazi involves vampires, do you know of anything about these strange evils from the history of vampires?
Well, I'm quite new. I'm 300 years old, so I don't think anything from my history will benefit from what you guys are looking for.
Who is the eldest? What's the eldest vampire?
Well, the eldest vampire would be the blood chieftain. That is the first. They will have the first contact with the source of our immortal being.
I see. Could you indulge us in their names? Do you know?
Can I tell them my chieftain's name?
You can tell them your chieftain's name, but probably not the others.
Okay, but can you tell me my chieftain name? Steve.
No, that's a proper name.
Yeah, there is a proper name, but because I didn't look in depth into their names, so that's why. But I know that they are the elders and the one that is aligned
Did
with.
you ever give me a name for your house?
No,
Okay.
that's why I was hoping you would come up with a specific house for me.
So
Since
Moment's blood chieftain.
Yes, my blood. chieftain.
Okay, I think I know this.
Some people would call it my sugar daddy.
No, that's patrons.
That is your queen, okay?
I have my
Your
dad
queen
and
is displeased.
I have my dad and I have my queen.
You have your dad and a mom.
But they are both different. They do not create me. Yeah, they create me. In a
But
sense.
our character, right? Does blood chieftain has any power over you?
Close enough, yes.
Yes.
If they're close enough.
Mm.
Oh.
They almost have a commanding power in some sort of way.
Well, that's
Yeah,
dangerous
like-
for a moment to be there.
Yeah, I there's a reason why I
Run away.
Don't want to go back there, because if he tells me to kill you guys, I will kill you guys.
Well, let's not go to that place.
Sure.
But that is out of character knowledge for you
Yeah,
guys.
This is Kalitas, Blood Chief of Gat, and I will put the word down.
Okay, so where did you put it?
In the Discord.
Oh, is the Zendika image? That
Oh,
Kalitas?
it's this guy. I
Oh.
see this guy in the book.
Are you spelling it out in Roll20 or is it? Oh wait, there it is in Roll20.
Kalitas.
Kalitas.
Wait, is he the one with all the knowledge? I remember reading one of the blood chieftain who is all about knowledge.
Okay, most
The
of them do
brain
know
boy.
things.
No, but I know there's one which is particularly more,
Older. So yeah.
The main brain
yeah.
boy.
Yeah, the
I'll
main
tell-
brain boy.
Yeah, I'll tell him there's many. Tell them there is many houses, but I only know one houses, and that is where I came from, which is Blood Chief Kalitas of Gat.
Forget.
I see.
Forget.
Forget.
I don't think. I mean, the way
Moment, since we're on this topic, you know that the Gat is one of the poorer and least powerful of the vampire families of Malakir.
Oh, he's
But as a result, he's more reaching and ambitious.
Mhm.
Mhm.
is for in power, right?
Because he's one of the poorest and least powerful of the vampire families of Malakir that's still among the big league, he's a bigger schemer and planner as a result.
Ah.
Yeah, so I did plead for my leave and he gave me my leave, but if I go back there, I don't know what he asked me to do.
Anyway, Bertie is going to say what he was saying. Like, from the way you've explained about vampires, it doesn't seem wise to ask them about the three ancient evils. Yes.
That one I don't know. I don't even know if they are resides from where that area, from here or there. But do remember the history that the vampires and the merfolk was once here. They were all once scholars of here, and then shit happens. I do not know what.
I see. Well, I think we should just see what we find in the temple and see what they know about the Eldrazi then. I suppose vampires are not the right way to go.
Look
It
what.
piques their curiosity though.
But look what happened to the previous priest. This happened to her when she saw. Yeah.
That reminds me, I'm still quite unsure if she's still safe. I hope she is. I hope she's alright.
Bertie is suddenly very worried. When you bring out Duran, he's just like, oh no.
It's like I've been reminded of this person still out there all
Yes.
alone in
Oh
the world,
no.
lost and confused.
I hope she is.
Verity stress.
Suddenly stress plus 10.
Random stress.
Stress level increasing.
Sarkos returns a while later and says, "So, Ugin, this is a strange one. Pardon
Does that
my
name mean anything to you?
pardon my tardiness. My colleague had to consult another colleague and so forth.
Oh, no.
Such is life.
So from what we can tell, or at least what we come to consensus, Ugin is some kind of a primitive icon of worship on Zendikar by the really primitive ones.
I see.
And I don't mean primitive as in people who might have architected grand things such as the Seagate Temple and such, but I mean primitive as in you can probably still find their bloodlines wandering the plains endlessly, nomadic, without leaving an imprint, barely.
So you mean like someone that is ancient?
Primitive as in likely to have only oral history, at best, if at
No,
all.
not even written ones.
He goes a bit quieter on that and says,
Like the what?
"No, even the core know how to record things." He speaks more. I speak more of nomadic tribes that do not gather, but do not particularly interact with civilization. Have you ever heard of the Goma Fada?
Have we heard of the Goma Fada?
I don't think I heard of
The walking city.
Oh yes, that one I heard before. That name I heard before.
Yes.
Isn't that like the traveling merchant thing?
That's the traveling merchant. Yes, the walking
Now,
city is a
in
traveling merchant.
comparison, the Goma Fada is practically civilized compared to these people.
Well, it is definitely celestial.
He calls himself a sword.
Please describe it. It's probably just another elemental in some other form.
It has many faces, and it was speaking about Lord Emperor, the god. I think it was in a Hedron.
You were inside a Hedron.
Well,
Oh,
I'm sorry, you actually managed to get inside a Hedron.
yes, through some
That was
means.
still intact. That's unprecedented.
It is
Well,
definitely a power that
finding
is
things
not
about
just
it.
an elemental. Many runes that can bind beings of power like celestials or even gods.
because
It was called Carbinus, yes.
I do not personally subscribe to the idea of gods of such, because, well, frankly, to the primitives, anything of power would be a god.
yeah, but he believes himself or whatever thing he believes is coming
That's a
is.
delusion of grandeur.
But still, if he has such power, he believes he has such power, we would think that something of this rune can able to seal power greater than that.
Well, but please do not go about telling people that another god or such exists.
No,
That's-
we're just trying to seal it, not trying to tell people about it.
He seems more relieved when you say that. All right, so let me explain first what we understand of hedrons. So you might have been around the marketplace and seen bits and pieces of hedrons being peddled.
The one
Yes.
that points towards the hedron that it was created from.
Yes, so you are aware that they hold some kind of a power of permanence on their own.
Mm-hmm.
They're particularly valuable because Zendikar is a changing field. Geography is malleable, the elements even more so. The weather might change further and so on. In fact, Seagate is one of the most stable regions in Zendikar, and for that we are blessed. Therefore, anything on Zendikar with permanence or the ability to go uninfluenced by the changing weather and climate is especially valuable. A hedron is a huge chunk of permanence.
I see.
Wait.
What do they do? The hedrons.
Hedrons are scattered over Zendikar. Now I'm still getting there. We try to chip blocks of it off to try and see, to try and anchor ourselves and such, of course. But the question has been, we have never managed to actually breach to the inside of a hedron. Or rather, we have had opportunities, but the pros, the cons have always outweighed the pros, as you see. Nobody really wants to invest that much effort to dig into a huge chunk of permanence.
Not
So
even for research.
It gets harder the further you dig in. We don't have the tools. Unless you wanted to invest an entire squad in working day and night over years to try and breach the insides.
I see. So
That's
no one actually knows what's inside a hedron.
Up until now, it would seem.
It's no longer here.
Dude, be
For
like,
the
my
purpose of knowledge,
condolences.
we may have to revisit this topic in future. But, so inside it, you found a renting prophet.
Actually, can Nerif make a minor image of what we saw?
Minor illusion of the
minor illusion of the being that we see.
The 16 tiles.
Of
Ner.
course.
Yes, I only remember of some, but I don't know if he remembers all of them. But I think we do remember the face, right?
Suddenly, keen mind feet.
Oh, he has keen mind?
Nah. Nobody ever
keen
takes that. Who are we kidding?
Well, you
some
said
people take keen mind.
you said that, but
Not a bad
someone
feat.
actually annoyed people with keen mind just because they know the date of time every time. Like, oh, it's 2
Verity
o'clock
remembers
somewhere.
everything about the 16
Whoever
tiles.
tries to recreate illusion or image of it, if you will have to give me a memory check.
All right. What is this memory check?
Intelligence.
Is it history check or is it
Let's
Not
see if I can
intelligence.
remember.
Not
Just
click on the
click
intelligence.
Oh no.
Oh, Nerif, no.
Can I use?
Wow,
Okay,
of
you're fine.
course.
I tell you, like
You're
every
fine,
time,
you're fine.
Alara remembers everything.
Why
Like
bother being a wizard
She remembers
anymore?
everything. Last time in the temple too.
like Alara might is just like, no, he's not look like that. Change that feature.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
that face is not like that.
I
Alara,
basically say I can't
you're
remember.
given
Could
pencil
you
and
describe it to
paper.
me?
Okay, Alara, you start describing, and Sartos gives you pencil and paper because it's clear that your description is insufficient to contain everything. And he gives you more pencil and paper, and you start noticing other librarians like starting to show up.
Oh,
Can Verity
Satos,
assist?
this is hardly private if everyone's taking interest. There's no issue, yes?
yes, but
You can ask if we can have go
okay,
to the private place.
Okay, Alara, from what you understand of the library is that stuff shared within is hardly secret while inside it. So it's
Okay.
like the librarians do have the right to butt in if they're interested in the topic.
no, I just shrugged.
Okay. The librarians start looking around and a few more gather. So there's about 6 of them now.
Are you writing the 16 tiles?
I do remember the 16 touts is not common though.
It's not.
Mm.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I
But
remember
it
it was
is- it
struggle
is-
to read them.
Yeah, it is in language that you think that is fits them. Yeah, that's true.
You can draw the runes. I mean,
Yeah.
Verity will try to remember, but I'm not sure if he can. He'll try though. Yes, I want. Oh, so
it
Verity.
wouldn't be any better than Alara, but you may be able to furnish the words of the
Yeah,
tile.
he knows the words for the runes.
Wait, you know what? There's only one thing important. Moment you roll me your knowledge, your intelligence.
Oh,
Because
that's
the rune keeper eyes person.
yeah. But my rose is not very good, please.
I have no guidance.
You should have said before.
Nah, you can't guidance for something you have to think of on the spot.
So does 12 manage something?
Not really.
You see,
It's a
yeah.
very
no.
high DC.
I only remember one where I constantly step on. That's the only one.
Okay, so Satos speaks in his merfolk language to the other librarians. There are different expressions there. Some seem outraged or disgusted. Others seem sympathetic or even curious.
How are you sympathetic? Okay, never mind. No, but I mean like the sympathetic is like I don't think he died, but sympathetic like how do you sympathetic? Like
It's fine.
oh he's just in this like darkness forever. Oh he's just
Satos
waiting for
eventually
someone.
comes around and tells you that while the 6 still continue looking, the consensus seems to be that you found a mad prophet within the Hedron that seems to be further driven into delusion by the reinforcement of the images shown to it. After all, it is easy to believe one's own delusions when one is continuously enforced and surrounded in the same chamber with the same imagery.
Wait, the creature wasn't trapped inside, was it?
No,
It wasn't.
it is what he believes is his chosen right to be there.
Yes.
So
he was there because the God Emperor wills
I
it.
feel like he able to get out if he wants, but he choose to be in that.
No. Like when we first arrived, it
It
wasn't
is-
there, right?
It is
Was it
sealed.
there?
It
It
is
was
sealed.
there.
Yeah.
It's just in the Hedron. Literally just in there.
It was there to protect the divine aspirants.
I thought it only showed up after we defeated the Guardians.
No.
No,
the-
it came up because we defeat their guardians. And they need more. It needs a guardian.
yeah, it needs a
Yes.
guardian.
So I don't think it was there when we were fighting.
It wasn't there
no.
when
It wasn't there, my friend, but yeah.
it feels like he can choose to whether be in or not
Yes, the
in that
creature did not
environment.
seem to be trapped.
It's not trapped at all.
It chose to be there.
Could it have simply been hiding within the stone itself or invisible?
How is it hiding in?
How did it appear?
Describe how it appeared. Like it just showed up. It was like, boom, what up? Congratulations, you're hired. And we're like, what?
Merfolk consult within themselves says there seems to be an agreement that it was some kind of invisibility or trick.
Possible.
Well, first things first. So, did it seem sane to you at all, or do you agree with our theory of delusion?
I agree with your theory.
Yes, it speaks very highly of this
But
God
it's-
Emperor.
He speaks very high, but yet he said he cannot show us of his greatness.
Did he say that?
No, I'm just saying out of my ass. Yeah.
No,
Both
I'm
look at each other and nod, and it seems the consensus is unanimous now. They all nod that this is some kind of a mad prophet. As to what it is, there's some further debate between them, and they seem to point at the various ruins and all that. So it had many faces, and the room had many different runes.
I
Is that
It-
correct?
I want to ask Alara to confirm. Is it all like every face equals to all of the tiles? Or
You didn't exactly count.
We
yeah,
didn't count. It's a lot of faces.
yeah, it has.
And also, we can't really say that it didn't show us its power because we don't want it to show its power. We don't want. Yes. It doesn't want to, it's just we don't want him to.
But each of
Yeah.
its face shows emotions, but each of its face also able to see because of their individual eyes that they have. Like you cannot be behind it to expect to. Isn't the other isn't the other isn't the other eye saw Burks as well? The other eye saw Burks.
Yeah,
remember the other
Bruce
eye
was
saw
trying to unlock the teleportation circle.
Yeah, the other eye saw
Yeah.
Burks.
And then you guys sort of like harder around him to block him
Yeah, from
and
his view.
distract. Yeah.
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 So I feel like his other eye might be this is my theory. Moments just speaking out. His other eyes also may be able to see. So it might be with him, like his head can turn.
Well, yes, but it would seem to us, and from what we have discussed, it seems logical that this strange trapped creature, possibly some kind of elemental, simply grew to resemble its surroundings and copy them.
Elemental again. Why everyone? Okay.
Verity has sense that it is a celestial though.
Yeah. So
Yes,
so
but
I
out
so,
of character, these
my-
guys
my-
might not know what a
Okay.
celestial is.
So yeah. I remember because I specifically asked.
No. Okay.
Talked to Shasher before, and he told me that they are very close-minded.
No, I know they're close-minded, but what we are trying to convince them is to give us binding runes to bind this.
Yeah, but
creature.
I'm just out of character myself. It's like seriously, dude, seriously. But I didn't say it out loud. Lol. Yeah.
Anyway, they do not with each other. They say, after all, if you take a water elemental into Valakut, it has to change and adapt or perish.
Yes, we did encounter a lot of steam elementals, among other kinds.
Well then, so from what we have seen so far, we can theorize that some form of powerful elemental was sealed within the hedron, shown certain shapes, perhaps to drive it to a certain induced state.
Out of character, we didn't mention that it can revive dead creatures. Do we want to mention it? That's
Do
the
you want to
question.
mention it? It might scratch their head a bit, like necronic elemental.
It might even discuss them more. It's like necrotic creature.
Yeah, we want to seal it. Yeah, we want
Yeah.
to discuss them.
Okay.
We go with that.
Okay, you can say that then. It's up to you.
Yeah.
So based on this, yes, it was sealed in and enforced with a certain particular shape or ideal. Perhaps it is self-propagating. It's sealed in, it maintains the seal.
Did you tell? Yeah.
But can elementals actually revive the dead to its thralls?
Sorry, you didn't mention this. What is this again?
Well, you know the people that we are supposed to search and rescue. They went to the hedron.
Oh, you can see clearly the merfolk just skipped over the little details for the interesting things, and now they're returning to it.
Yeah.
Well, they passed away, but this creature managed to revive them to be the guardian of the hedron. Can elementals do that?
Power.
Abilities.
Abilities. Yeah, abilities.
There's a pause. Atos puts a hand for you to wait a bit, talks to his colleagues, and you can see a whole array of emotions coming back again to the different merfolk as they blab on in their language. This
Hooray.
time, the outrage outweighs
Stimulus.
a lot of things.
Yeah.
Satos turns back to you. Sorry, this is a bit of a sensitive topic, but bringing the dead back is something that we only associate with the Crypt of Agadim and the Malakir and terrible vampire things.
The crypt of, if I'm not wrong, I read it down somewhere. Should be the same thing.
The Crypt of Agadim is a location in Ondu, near the Karbira crossroads. Terrible place.
Crypt of.
By the way, you guys know that this hedron is near a place called Ondu.
Yeah. Crypt of
Is that
Ardim
where
is
you found the
on-
hedron?
Did you say it in character or out of character? By the way.
Out of character, she said.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm saying
out
I
of-
say our character it's just so that your intelligent character can say yes, it's in Ondu.
That name. What was the town's name?
Ondu.
It's on Ondu. The crypt is called Agadim.
Karbira crossroads.
Agira Crossroads.
Karbira.
Yeah, Karbira.
Karbira,
It
region of
sounds
Ondu.
very close to his name, Carabinos.
Yeah.
Oh,
Carabinos.
Carabinos. What? Can someone spell it, because you know my spelling is very awful.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Conspiracy theory. Does this shock Sony?
Karbira
Sony has
cross-
shut off.
He's like, he revived the dead. What? What he said? What?
Crypt of Agudin, right?
Yeah, it's crypt of Agadim.
Agadim.
A-G-A Dim.
Okay, I put it
I
I-N.
put in the Discord.
Oh, so it's D-E-E-M. Okay.
I write it down because I remember the
Agadim.
the finds consider ley lines supposed to be, and this is supposed to be one of the ley line location.
Mm-hmm.
Supposed to be.
So the merfolk seem to calm down a bit, and there's some exchanges that, from what Satos past in flickers or that, it seems that they are calmer now, accepting that foreign practices are hard to understand and
Okay.
may toe the lines past what is acceptable, but they have a lot to learn in a long ways and are less enlightened.
No, they're going back to their ways.
Yep.
Yes, but basically they reinforce that necromantic practices are especially foul and harken
And-
back to vampire influences.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Which-
Bertie nods. Undead,
Yeah.
unlife, not good. No, Bertie nods.
Mhm.
So from what they conclude again is that this elemental must have been driven mad by all these delusions and started gaining other powers to try and enforce this reality, which even means making the dead into the living and such. There's some stretch here about how they're inferring that it might be air related, since air relates to breath, the breath of life and such things and so forth.
Air. Breath.
I'm just I don't know what my character would do.
Bertie's screaming in his log. He's been screaming all the time. Breath of
I would take out my map, my logbook, my notebook, and take out my map, and then going to my a rough sketch of Ondu, and then I write down over there elemental went crazy.
Right. So from what we can theorize, from what you described of things dying and come back to life, it would seem that the inside of a hedron was simply not meant to be visited. Not meant to be visited by any living people, at least.
He
The
did
elemental
say-
within is simply too hostile and deluded to be of any assistance. So back to the
Nonsense.
original theory that the hedron traps an elemental, which in turn powers the hedron to gain its permanent.
knots. The theory, yeah. So interesting theory.
Very well. So, moving on about hedrons, he says, so binding runes, yes? You may have noticed that hedrons are arranged in patterns.
No.
No,
Somewhat.
you have not seen the hedrons in the
We haven't
sky?
seen the outside of it.
We
Ah,
have seen hedrons. They float.
Yeah, but
There's
not
a
in
crab.
patterns.
Well,
No, it's holding like it's a hedron crab. It's not hedron.
yeah, but there were hedrons around the hedron crab, right? Like floating around.
There was. I don't remember seeing hedrons.
Saltos tells you all, you need to take a view of the bigger picture of things. Hedrons
Yes.
individually might not make much sense, but from the bigger picture, they do.
I nod. This makes sense. Of course, there's a pattern.
So he
Go on.
explains that this is what a lot of work of Tazim, the Sea Gate, and when they need to engage the core from the North Hada and such, this is what their work is related in. Because as the main components of permanence in a region as shifting as Zendikar, it is our life's work to try and determine what patterns they are and what they're concluding. We know that there's an entire line of hedrons over Tazim itself, and in fact, there's a concentration of them in particular over an area known as Emeria, the Sky Ruins. Are you
We know
familiar
about
with
that. Bertie nods.
From what we can tell of Emeria, the Sky Ruins, it seems some kind of primitive deity was preceded that area before the merfolk found it and found a more, well, let's just say a more reasonable or plausible cause for its existence. So Emeria the Sky Rune is one of the biggest gatherings of hedrons, and it's from there that we try to place the rest of Zendikar in proportion. And some of the merfolk nod at this and say that, Well, yeah, Tazim, Emiria, center of Zendikar makes perfect sense to them.
Verity raised his hand.
The other center, yeah.
Isn't Emiria the same name as one of your gods?
Oh, yes.
Are they related?
The merfolk tell you that Em or Emiria is the merfolk deity of the realm of the skies, winds, and clouds of Zendikar. She's known as Kamsa by the core and is the deity of the wind and the breath of
Kamsa.
the world. So from what she tells is that they believe that the floating hedrons and buildings that make up a majority of Emiria the Sky Rune, or even seem to be the origin area of it, they believe it was once the home of the goddess, and they still supplicate with hedron shards and land fruit to her worship. So he says, there is something almost sacred about that site. Obviously, we can't bring visitors, given that most visitors tend to just fall off the ground. But yes, that is a site holy to us.
I see. Do we require permission to travel there?
We rarely bring any visitors, if at all. It is even less traveled than the Temple of Ula.
Sorry, you're very soft.
They don't bring visitors at all.
Even
It is
less traveled than the Temple of Ula.
Ah, okay.
I see. So there are main sites for your gods where you worship them. Emiria the Sky Rune is where Emiria is mainly worshipped, and Ula is in another place.
Yes, that is correct.
Would
I
make
see.
sense. They oversee different aspects of Zendikar, after all.
But may I know more about these places of worship?
Well, we're still on the Binding Runes question. So Emiria, we're convinced, is the biggest collection of hedrons and such, and it extends from Emiria outwards towards Zendikar. And this is where, of course, our research breaks down, you see. Where it extends towards Guldras, the vampires are problematic. Towards Akaum, less. Akaum itself, the constant smoke and fog and volcanic eruptions just obscures our ability to get a good view on where it goes. We have more success towards the east, where it touches towards Ondu, but our expeditions there tend to go wrong, shall we say? And now that you mention this connection with this madness of an elemental and near the crypt in Carbira, well, yes, it would seem there's some negative influences in that area. That's why we have the expedition houses, and that's why we're so insistent on sending them out, although our efforts go unappreciated by the rest of Zendikar.
I think it's a commendable effort to try to find patterns in things that keeps changing.
As you see, we have a theory, which is then there's some argument among the other merfolk librarians. Well, I can't even call it a theory because we haven't even seen sufficient evidence to call it such. But there's a thought process that perhaps these hedrons extend all the way across Zendikar like a belt. And if that were the case, it would suggest that the entire realm of Zendikar itself is being bound by the hedrons. But until we can find an actual chain, we have to go by supposition.
I see. So where does the Binding Runes come in?
Where the hedrons are gathered in concentration and in proper regular patterns, there is permanence, and permanence binds.
I see.
Verity nods, waxing his mouth.
Do these concept
This
makes sense.
this concept makes sense. I'm just gonna write that down.
Wait, so does it mean
And that's
Does
also one of the
mean-
reasons why we might chip from hedrons, but we don't exactly try to break them apart in case somehow this severs an entire link.
I nod. Very prudent.
Nah, it's okay.
Yes, Lina?
Nah, it's okay.
Your mic drop out at some point or you've been a bit quiet.
No, it's nothing. Yeah, you answered it already.
Okay. Then they turn around to face the crew again. What were you looking for binding runes for? Yes, but towards what end? Seagate is very secure. Or are you saying you want to try and create a hedron?
Is it possible?
We are not sure. Up until now, because if we didn't know what was inside the hedron, how would we even begin to create it?
Well, first we do need to find the binding runes first as well. Yeah.
Well, if your interest in researching binding runes is to recreate hedrons, then that could be very useful. That would we would be less worried by the damaging of them and the incomplete samples and the sabotage efforts even. Well, you're part of an expedition house, yes? Well, we can certainly work with House Balaget to see how we might secure more materials towards research.
Hmm.
We'll be happy to work closely with you and consult you in this as well. Librarian Sartos nods.
Excellent.
More librarians are joining you.
Is
I
it
think
just
it
because
seems
about
fine.
the hedron topic and the binding
Well,
rules?
you can
that might-
probably guess, like, you have hit on a big topic that
Yeah.
I think
That's
the next
good.
topic
That
they
means
will. I feel
they'll
like the next
support
like
topic.
us.
college professors smelling research grants, they all flock over.
I feel like the next topic they'll as quickly flee as well because it will be the topic of Eldrazi. But
Yes.
yeah, I don't think I have anything to ask because it feels like they are very imminent of what they found is what they believe and
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So,
think
but
what they're
but
talking about makes sense.
there are some things that make sense where I note down doesn't make sense. I'm just gonna yes.
Note
So-
down too, but with the asterisks.
yeah.
Might not make sense.
It might not make sense. Elemental celestial yes.
Okay, so what is your third question?
Oh. Wait, Z
The-
Z
is-
disconnected. She's logging back in.
Oh wait. Oh, we want to wait for Z or? Okay.
Yeah. In the meantime, we can just talk more about the binding runes. So, from what he's explaining, it sounds like these hedrons act as a sort of binding system.
It yeah, like the binding rune has a power enough to like to bind even the hedron itself. or even the binding runes at some certain areas can bind the hedrons around it
Okay,
just
so
by in proximity.
so that leads us, as in the party, to do more research on hedrons. Yes.
Yes.
Are there
There's one
more
there's one
carabinoses in all of the hedrons? How does this work?
I remember that there are hedrons in at a coastal cliff.
There
There
are
are some
hedrons
hedron that is
everywhere in
that's
Zendikar.
broken there, float around there. But I didn't specifically see if Glasgow have hedron surrounding that area or not.
Glasspool didn't have any mentioned, I don't think.
Yeah, so Glasgow didn't mention anything, but I know Coastal Cliff have a lot of broken hedrons and stuff that's floating around there.
Wait, do hedron crabs eat the hedrons?
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
Okay, so they break the hedrons open.
They just numb.
Okay.
I think the broken pieces come down and they just since there's food they just numb it.
Okay, so they eat already broken hedrons. They don't break floating hedrons and
I
eat
don't
them.
think they can fly up that high.
I see.
They can toss things very far though, based on what we remember.
Yes, he yeeted a house at us.
Literally.
Well, it's 10:52, so rather than get into the third topic, we can close here for the night.
Right, right. All right.
Do you see how everything's coming together?
Here's our boy Z. Back at it. Hello. You're muted.
Hi, welcome back, Kian.
Can
Hi
you hear us?
guys.
And okay.
Sudden power outage.
Do you we are at a point, do we want to continue the third topic? I feel like the third topic will be as long as always,
Yes.
but it is
I think that will be long too.
yeah.
Next week. Thank you all for watching.
All right.
I came back just for it to end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aw.
Say wash your hands.
Ooh.
Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Bye.
Bye.